You start? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to council for April 15th, 2025. We'll get right down to business. We have a motion to accept the agenda, moved by Wade, seconded by Bookner, and one of amended the agenda by moving closed session up to just before item number 8. That's all right. Any other additions or amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor? Is amended. Both, that's carried. Any declaration of peculiar interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, move right on to the minutes of the April 1st meeting. They're moving the time. They're moved by Cricket, second by Wade. Any other amendments? Seeing none, all those in favor is presented. Opposed, that's carried. Business items for the minutes, CL 21-2025. Any questions or comments on that? Councilor Turner, please.
Staff were looking for some feedback or regarding the questions and answers regarding wind towers. Seeing here, they're looking for us to give them more information.
Marianne?
Yes. So checked into some sources, for, sources that are, what's the term that we're, facts that are actually facts. Double with that, line study or, anyway, there's a
Peer review.
peer review, there's a cost for that. Related to that.
No.
No?
Any government, reports or free?
Okay, but are those peer review reports?
So the government is putting on the
Okay.
policy.
Okay, so what we were looking for then too as well is, I have to go back on, is there was, I think, 8 different areas or 6 or 8 different areas that we were looking at. With, we could kind of get those narrowed down a little bit, what you think the most important ones are. We would suspect noise, I think was one. Portable land.
Spoken about.
Values. Facts. Birds,
Generally.
birds. Or migratory,
So wildlife fishery. Any others? Councilor Perry.
Well, I think one of the ones that really come forward is this issue that people don't want them in their backyard. I really don't know how to deal with that question. So I don't know what you call it, visual impairment or that seems to be
Or visual annoyance.
annoyance, I guess. But that seems to be what's on everybody's mind, is that they don't want them in their backyard, they don't want them in their sidelines. I don't know how you deal with it.
so I didn't know if there was a couple that you wanted us to focus on in looking for information.
But with my first is always be health and ag impact or environmental. We call it an ag impact assessment, but is there an environmental issue? I don't know, Councilor, give me
I think along with that was concerns about groundwater interference and stray voltage.
Straight to chat.
Thank you.
Another one I've heard recently is use of agricultural prime land.
Yeah. Okay, so pretty much the list that was there before, though, that's everything the council wants to have looked at. We're not necessarily going to, okay, that's fine.
So I think what we want is an unbiased view of the of those issues. So rather than, you know, somebody yelling and screaming about something, what is either a government document or peer review document that says, you know, this is the actual bottom line. You know, we don't want to, you know, we don't want to miss anything, but nor do we want to live in by myth and fear either. So
Okay.
give it a fair assessment. Whether that would always be my goal is to try and get the most honest answer out in front of the public and say that's what we should base our decisions on.
Okay. So.
Okay, if anybody else has any thought, reach out to you, Mary. Okay, thank you. Anything else on the, business arising from the minutes? And a motion to accept that report, moved by Frederick, seconded by Luke. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. The first, delegation and appointment is, for Robert Barry. So Robert, do you want to come to the table there in front of you? And, who's doing the report? We have a report here in front of us. Have you seen it?
I did see it, yes.
Okay. So Mary Ellen, you're gonna do the report and then,
Yes.
you'll have an opportunity to raise any issues or ask any questions you want.
Okay, so just to review the report, report number 2025, by the clerk. The township's received a request from Robert Berry for an exemption to the noise law in regards to a wedding reception taking place on Saturday, September 20th. Approximately 100 people. At 7 p.m. all speakers and music will be played inside the fully enclosed pavilion at Swedenborg Park. And doors will be closed. Dance swing will end around 11 p.m. with shuttles to take people home. So the bylaw request has been circulated to the neighboring property owners. At the time of writing this report, no negative comments have been received. Staff is recommending the council approve the notice bylaw exemption.
Okay, so we call that a positive report. The request is being recommended by staff. Any comments on that, Mr. Barry?
No additional comments, just, I guess, thanks for consideration, so.
Okay. Questions now from council? Council Becker?
Two.
Yeah.
Sure, three, yeah. First of all, who's the wedding for?
And myself,
Oh, and where are you? You live in Swedenborg?
Sweetburg, yeah.
Okay, what's your address?
It's 474-348. 474-348.
Oh, on Dodge?
Yeah.
Second question, it's not a licensed facility.
Mhm.
And in order to, you might have to get a liquor license.
Yep, that's what we,
You'd also need council approval for that.
okay, was not aware of
So is your intention to, is it an open bar?
that. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'd look into that sooner than later.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's.
For a liquor license, you contact the clerk.
Okay.
So, Julie or Mary Ellen can help you with that. And it comes before council just for approval, because it's municipal property. So, and it is a thing. Okay, any other questions or comments? Council Goodman?
I just like to comment, it sounds like he's done all that it can or to mitigate the noise, and I know at the Pepperidge Creek Conservation, 11 p.m. is their curfew as well, so I'm glad to see that you stuck that in there, not midnight or 1 o'clock, so.
For sure.
Any other questions? Is there a motion from council? Councilor Booker, and motion to approve. Be approved, seconded by Councilor Trevor. Any discussion? None, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. So you're good to go, but as Councilor Becker said, make sure you get your liquor license if you want to share liquor.
Yeah, no, that's, thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, and just contact Mary Ellen or Julie here at the office and I'll help you with it.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're 12 minutes ahead, Meredith. Do you want to go ahead and start early or do you want to wait for?
I am good anytime.
Well, let's go ahead and do your presentation now, do that thing.
Okay. It's nice to follow wedding plans. Okay, thank you everyone for having me here today. My name is Meredith Maywood and I work for the County of Oxford in tourism. I've met some of you on a couple occasions at various events. But I'm excited to come out and talk to you about what we've been up to in tourism and also what's happening this year. If you're not familiar with tourism, it's a service of the County of Oxford and it provides management of tourism. So ensuring that we're developing tourism in a way that's supportive of the community, product development for tourism. So that's working with businesses, and organizations to develop tourism product that will meet the needs of consumers while also meeting the needs of the community. And then the marketing of tourism. And with that, we do a variety of marketing opportunities from advertisements in partnership with businesses to with Destination Ontario. Tourism, some people don't realize the scale of it in Oxford County. It's over 3,400 people employed in tourism in Oxford County. We work with over 190 businesses, and it's over 670,000 nights spent in Oxford County on an annual basis. So we also look, when you're developing tourism product, you have to look at what the trends are and what consumers are looking for. So I wanted to kind of provide a bit of an overview from something that's called Skyscanner. And they do annual trends reports, and this one is for Canadian residents. So you're gonna see there's a lot of change that came with COVID and the isolation that followed it as well. And you see this impact when you look at the trends. People are wanting to do conscious travel. So what they're looking for is to do tourism that has a positive impact or not a negative impact. So they're talking about environmental, they're talking about the community they're visiting and having a positive benefit on it. They're also, looking for a sense of community. So that's where you'll see events are making a bit of a comeback because people are wanting to be out with others with a shared experience. Other examples of that would be going out and doing group activities, such as going out and doing a group art class together or a hike. Like running clubs are bigger than ever now. Also with that, some of the other things to talk about from a municipal standpoint is culture, gardens, fitness. Those are all things that people are looking for at this time. So there's lots of opportunities. For example, if you've got a rural farm attraction, one of the things that you could consider is maybe putting in a row of sunflowers or having an opportunity for a walk on the property. So there's lots of things the municipalities and the individuals can do. And then also like they have a big interest in culture. So culture is something that we're really keeping an eye on as well, but they're not just wanting to come and take a picture, they're wanting it to be immersive. And that's where some of the unique experiences that you see businesses doing are really standing out and appealing to what the consumer wants. So when you look at the product that we have in Oxford County, as I said, we work with over 190 businesses. So our primary themes are in the Tour Oxford vein. So that is really cashing in on the ability for people to travel easily between stops. It's a very drivable county. You're not going too far to your next location. And with that, we're really trying to then tie into the fact that people want to visit rural destinations, but they need to know there's enough to do. So last year we launched Your Next Stop, which we say minimizes drive time while maximizes fun. And with that, in Southwest Oxford, we launched Southern Slowdown, which was one of our 3 routes that we launched last year. So with that, we encourage people to go and visit several businesses in the area for an enjoyable day out. And they all cross promote at their locations with signage. And then we have an online marketing campaign for that. Cycling is also very popular. And we just combined cycling with culinary because we also have the Oxford County Cheese Trail. And as you know, you have several cheesemakers in this township. So the Cheese Trail cycling route does come through Southwest Oxford as well. Experiential tourism is also continuing to grow. And with that, that's where people are coming to do something more immersive. They're wanting to get more out of their trip. They want to learn something. They want to connect with people. So for instance, going to Orange Door Acres and learning how to butcher a chicken, with the chef on site is a great example of that. It's a chance to get out and connect and do something, that you wouldn't normally do with somebody you wouldn't normally get to do it with. And then also wellness and outdoors is also incredibly popular, as can be witnessed once again in Southwest Township with the development at the Oxford Hills. And as I mentioned, culinary, we partner with the Oxford County Federation of Agriculture, and we do the Oxford Fresh program. So that is a map and website that promotes people sourcing their food locally. And then we also work with restaurants and chefs that also are working to source locally. And then, as I mentioned, the Oxford County Cheese Trail. So this is going on to 10 years now. And this is a 2-time award-winning tourism product that's actually part of a national culinary trail for Canada. It's something we should be incredibly proud of. I've had people from Belgium come to learn about what we're doing here. The East Coast Economic Development Group came last year. There's a huge amount of collaboration happening in this area, and particularly in the culinary and experiential realm. And people are curious about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how these businesses get involved. So we've got some great product here in the county. So I want to talk a little bit about what we completed last year. We do put out industry newsletter, and that comes out once to twice a month. And with that industry newsletter, we also do an annual review. So you can subscribe to that newsletter. I can share the link to be shared again with your staff if you're interested in subscribing. Through that, we let the businesses know what's coming up, what opportunities are, and also share information about what's happening in the industry in the area. So, for example, from that report from last year, in the management area, we completed a 5-year plan for tourism. And we also received our Sustainable Tourism Destination certification at a silver level from Green Step. With both of those projects, we now have plans in place that we're wanting to implement. And we actually received funding from the FedDev Southern Ontario to help complete that work. So in the management area, those were our key activities, was completing those reports and then starting implementation. Last year, also in product development, we continue to offer workshops on a regular basis for businesses. Over 150 registrations happened for networking and training opportunities last year. We had 20 businesses sign up for a detailed online certification course in digital marketing for tourism. We had 4 new experiences launched in the area. We also tested out a new program to support restaurants during the quieter month of January called Oxford Eats, which encourages people to go out for limited time menus for the last 2 weeks of the month of January, which has had great success. We also are trying to get the businesses out more. They need to socialize. They need to get out and network and connect again, which is very difficult when they are so overworked and overwhelmed with everything that's happening. But we try to provide those opportunities to them. And then also we did the Tourism Innovation Grant Partnership, which we do in partnership with Community Futures Oxford and Rural Oxford. And through that, each partner involved provides $3,000 towards 1 grant. So there's 3 grants in total for businesses to do a new innovative tourism implementation that they can complete any year. So last year, Habitual Chocolate, Thames River Melons, and the Thoughtful Artisan were successful applicants. And then in marketing, we are always doing advertising, but we always try to extend our reach. So we worked with Destination Ontario 2 times last year. We actually, with the partners we went into for the winter campaign, because we do promote in winter, we've got great relaxation activities, and some of our local product, such as cheese, is available on a year-round basis, as well as many of our experiences. So experiences are often run by businesses during their shoulder season to boost revenue. So last year we had over 41 million digital impressions, and that is quite inflated because we did a major US campaign with Destination Ontario and Southwestern Ontario. So we were more on par with previous years in the 20 million digital impressions for our other ads. We also continue to promote through an email newsletter that we send out and our social media and our website. But with the tourism 5-year plan, we are actually in the process of revamping the website, which will provide improved customer service to the businesses, residents, and visitors, and will provide better, that improved customer service for the residents and visitors is going to allow better searching and a more dynamic website for people to find what they're looking for by geographic area. So then looking at the 5-year plan, we do have a vision, obviously, and our mission. And I won't go into great detail with this slide. You have it in your slide deck and you can review it. But obviously we're wanting to do work in the area of management, product development, and marketing. And the vision, we're wanting a vibrant tourism destination that contributes to Oxford County's economic, social, and environmental well-being. If we go to the next slide, so these are some of the goals and objectives that we're looking at. So that includes economic, social, and environmental benefit, resilient, thriving tourism industry, competitive product offerings. So that's where doing that research and knowing what the consumer is looking for is so important, and sharing that information with the businesses. That's why keeping on top of trends has been very advantageous to us over the years. And then also being effective with our marketing, marketing at the right time to the right people for the right reason, reaching who you're wanting to reach. So for instance, finding people where the authentic tourism offerings in Oxford County appeal to them. It's a good value of our dollar in our marketing, and it's a good value for the consumer because we're reaching ones that are most interested. And then of course, continuing to work with the Collaborative Tourism Network. So we're very excited to have the strong partnerships that we do have with the businesses in the community. And then if we go to the next slide. Oh, sorry, yes. Yeah, and then for the 2025 business plan, which was approved by Oxford County Council, we have a variety of activities that we're working on. One of those is improving our measurement and reporting. So that includes surveying our residents, our visitors, and our businesses on a regular basis. We're going to have a new database for the county for tourism that's going to allow us to better track the results of what's happening, not only with our advertising, how the businesses are doing, and then also knowing what people are looking for, whether they're a business or a visitor. We're looking at rolling out Your Next Stop to the 3 urban municipalities this year after testing it last year with 3 rural communities. And then also we're looking at a new partnership with Canada's Outdoor Farm Show. We're wanting to support them, and we're hoping to extend the stay of the vendors that are coming, having them hopefully arrive earlier. And then also investigate what other opportunities we have to have other groups come into the area for the show. And then also we want to work with and improve our communications. So the new website, the new CRM, and some actions that we're wanting to take will make improvements in that area. And I also like to share that, we are a resource for the county. So we have data that we can share about consumers' interests and what they're looking for in the realm of tourism. We are regularly sourcing data from a variety of sources, and we're always happy to chat about that if it's advantageous to a municipality. Also, we do photography partnerships. So this year we're partnering with Rural Oxford, and we're splitting the costs, plus tapping into funding from Ontario Southwest. So we're getting incredibly great value to get several photo shoots done that will benefit both us and Rural Oxford. This is not our first time with that partnership. It's been very advantageous. Then also we're available for business outreach if you think we have an industry newsletter. So for instance, when one of the community events was looking for vendors in Mount Elgin, I was sure to send that out through our industry newsletter because we do have businesses that may want to participate. So if we can help each other by sharing that information, we're very happy to. And we're always happy to discuss collaborations, and if there's activations that you're interested in the community, what might be of interest to visitors, or if there's something happening that you would like us to help get the word about, we're happy to talk about that. And that's it. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take them. But once again, thank you for your time tonight, and keep in touch.
Okay, thanks very much, Meredith. Any questions from council? Go ahead, Councilor Perry.
Yeah, I appreciate the work you do with Rural Oxford. Rhonda mentions your name quite frequently. So it's a good partnership. My question is, with the research you've done and so on, how many dollars do you think is brought into Oxford County for tourism? How much money is spent in the county?
So for an actual number for that, that's something I'm hoping I'll have a better answer for in the future. But we do have businesses that talk about what percentage of their customers are visitors. And I get ranging from 25 to 40% for some of them. But I will have a better answer for that in a year as we update our database. But if you think it's overall, I think it's 6% of the GDP for Ontario.
Any other questions? Councilor Wade.
With what's going on in the world today with our southern border, do you expect the tourism Oxford to have somewhat of an increase this year, more local money spent instead of people going south of the border? And can you, do you have numbers at the end of the summer that you can compare this year to last year and base it on?
Through the mayor, yes, we are expecting an increase. I was actually at a provincial meeting where Destination Ontario presented data on what we were kind of seeing possibly happening this year and attitudes about tourism. People are still looking favorably at coming to Canada from the US. So we are expecting our visitors to continue to come, and we've already had some of our fans, I guess you could say, sharing content that we had out and encouraging people to come. But also you're gonna see more Canadians traveling in Canada. And that's what we're seeing and hearing in the numbers we're seeing crossing the border, but also in these intention surveys. So we are expecting more Ontario traffic this year, absolutely, from Ontarians.
Councillor Yocum.
Yeah, just going back to, I think it was your second slide, you talked about 670,000 visits in Oxford in 2024. Is that strictly around tourism? Like tourism related visits?
Through the mayor. So that is data that comes from a data partnership we do with Ontario Southwest. And it's based on cell phone data. And so it's overnights in Oxford County is what that's based on.
That's 1,800 a day. That seems like an incredible.
I was feeling it was low. But yes, if you think it's the whole county and people come in bursts. So it's not every day, but it is cell phone data. So it's verified data that we accessed for the annual or for the 5-year plan.
Any other questions? Go ahead,
You
Councillor.
gotta be thinking now, how do you access cell phone data? Cause this could be just people driving down the 401
Overnight.
overnight.
Mhm,
Your cell phone stayed overnight.
mhm.
So watch where you leave your cell phone, somebody. Any other questions? So a couple for you, Meredith. The first one is, you mentioned about Orange Door and seeing a chicken butcher. Now, my experience as a child, seeing chickens butchered was not something that I would have ever thought that anybody would have come to be enlightened on. So that was an eye opener for me. Good thing is, it might be helpful for council. I can't remember what the budget is, county budget for tourism. How much is it?
It's around $500,000.
Yeah, so $500,000 and 15, 20, $30 million in income
For the region.
for an added income to businesses and stuff. There's a certain amount of business they do anyways, but this is the extra. And I think that's one of the things that from the county perspective is this is really economic development in a cultural sort of setting, right? And so I think that's one of the reasons why the investment is in it. And I think it's a good investment. I really do. I think every time you promote yourself and get people to come here, it's not just good economically, but it's also good socially. It's sort of that mixing in that. And the other one is, I'd be interested in how many of those overnight stays are actually hockey parents. Because my experience that way too also says that. Anyways, I'll leave that alone. Okay, thanks very much. Any other questions for Meredith? Thanks for the update. I really appreciate it, and good to see you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, thanks, Melanie. Okay, I think we're on to staff reports, and Marianne, are you doing the
BGO 4 2025 support council tonight. It's the March activity, including the total number of permits by construction and building permit fees collected, comparator to the same time frame in 2024. So we're doing the permit fee wise not as great, but value of construction and number of permits are pretty close. Yeah.
Good.
So was any questions, year-to-date totals are contained from 2023, 24, and 25 on the second page, and the township budget for building permit revenues, 260,000 for 2025. So we have a ways to go yet. But I'll be happy to answer any questions, or if I don't, I'm gonna just get back to you.
Okay, so any questions from anyone? Councillor Wade?
Yeah, when I read this, I noticed that the permit fees were taxes were a lot lower. What's the reason? Like, our total value of construction is like $1.3 million more, but our permit fees collected are $22,000 less, so I just couldn't.
It would depend on the type of permit, so I'd have to look at it. It could be 2025, 4 million. 821, so I'd have to look to see if the 4.8 million included barns. Their permit fees wouldn't be as high as it would be for a commercial or industrial permit. The value could be high based on the value of the barn, but the permit fee wouldn't be as high. But I can check that and get back to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, we have a motion then to receive the report, moved by Yitman, seconded by Gillis. Result, Council Township Secretary to be 05/2025, March 2025, building and building information. Any further discussion? None, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. And we'll move on to bylaw enforcement.
Okay, report CL 23/2025 provides council with the first quarter for 2025 report in relation to bylaw. There's a summary contained, it goes back to 2019. So first quarter in 2025, formal complaints are 17. So it's actually lower than it was for being 24, 23 for the first quarter. But then on the second page, it breaks it down into the types of complaints and what category.
Any questions on that? Councillor Booker.
What time did our bylaw officers start? Was that 22? So well, that could be why there was quite that jump there for 23 and 24, but now things are settling down, so hopefully he's got a lot of them under control.
We had one even prior to the shared service. We used to do some internally before we began the shared service. Okay.
Councillor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as council, we don't have necessarily a lot of interaction with our bylaw enforcement officer. From a staff perspective, is this arrangement working out well with sharing a position between the different municipalities?
I think so. I think we're always gonna have problem players in this scenario, repetitive issues on the same property. But overall, those can be a little more complicated, but I think, yes, it's the arrangement's working.
Anything further on that? And do we have a motion to receive this information? Moved by Buckner, seconded by Wade. The Council of Township Secretary report CL 2025 bylaw enforcement activity report first quarter 2025 is information. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. I think we're now down to the asphalt WD03. Adam, any comments on that?
Nope, just seeking council's approval for the 2025 asphalt tender. We did receive 4 bids. Low bid was GIP. We have not worked with GIP in the past. I did check references. They worked for Zord last year, Oxford last year. There's plenty of quality control within our tender. And we have the ability to enforce that, and I think we will this year have the vendor pay for all the testing and quality control. So yeah, it's my recommendation to award to GIP.
Okay, any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, was wondering, I didn't know GIP from the company, so I had stopped in to ask Gavin about last week, and again, encouraging to make sure you keep your noise on. We don't want is this a former Cocoa?
It used to be Cocoa, yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Auto GFP 22.
so I think it's one of those things, new players, you want to make sure you're watching very carefully. Well, I guess even with the old players, you want to watch. That's right. That's a lot, man. Under budget?
It is under budget, yeah, it's a very good price, lowest we've had in a long time, it's 85 a ton. Last year we paid over $90 a ton, so it is a good price, so we are under budget on it, so. Now we do still have we may have an asphalt cement adjustment, time comes to pave, July or August, but, it's definitely trending in the lower direction as of now, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay, sure. Any other, comments? Seeing none, do we have a motion? Moved by Patrick, second by Gillis, resolved that the council of township of this auction receive report WDO 2025 asphalt tendering as information. And further, the council approved the tender bid of $695,445 plus applicable tax from GIP paving on work outlined in the approved tender. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried. Thanks very much, Adam. And now, before we go into discussion items, we're gonna go into closed session, Adam, you can say, please. Okay. Do we have a motion to go into closed session? Moved by Way, second by Gillis. Go into closed session for legal and potential litigation, legal advice and potential litigation,
In personnel.
personnel matters, okay.